Welcome to another episode of McKale Madness. I'm Saul Bookman. That is Corey Williams. And there's no need to try and set it up today. There's no need to try and build up a hype about this matchup coming up or anything like that, because we know what it is. We know what's in store. We know what the opportunity is in front of Arizona basketball, and it's the one and the only Duke. And matter of fact, the only thing that I'm not thrilled about when it comes to Duke right now is the fact that I got to fly all the way across the country on a red eye just to get there tonight. I'm just not. And Corey, listen, typically American will slide me, a solid, and they'll say, "Hey, do you want to upgrade to like first class for like $100?" I'm like, $100?
100?
Yeah, dude, I've gotten it like maybe 6 times, $100 upgrade to first class
On that red eye, okay.
Well, no, just in general. But this time they were like, "How about 3?" And I was like, "How about no? No, I'm not doing $300. Sorry." So your boy's gonna be sitting in the middle seat all the way across the country for 4.5 hours. Man, I hope I don't have like just bad luck with the people that are sitting next to me.
See, you're putting way too much at risk for way too little money. You spend the $300 on a 4-hour flight. You're looking at $75 an hour. That averages a little bit over $1 a minute to be comfortable. Come on, bro. $1 a minute. I mean, you got it. I know you got it. I mean, so I was at the wedding. Don't forget, I seen how you get down. I know you got it, bro. Come on, $1 a minute to be comfortable. I would have spent it all day long, bro. 4-hour flight. Oh yeah, they'd have got it from me.
Listen, man, we ain't all balling on a budget. Actually, no, I am balling on a budget. I know, I mean, life might be good in the Corey Williams household, but Corey Williams is also,
we had oodles of noodles for lunch today at work. We ain't really, it's tax season, bro. I had to ship some money off to the feds. Things is in limbo right now. We struggling to the next paycheck.
Hey, listen, it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a good matchup, and I just think that there is a lot of things now, whether it plays out or not. I just think that there are so many things that Arizona has improved upon over the course of the last of the season, since the last time they played Duke, that you almost have to throw that game completely out of the window, because there's just too much variation. Krivas isn't playing. Malik Brown isn't playing for them. Kneppel and Cooper Flagg, Proctor, Maluach, they've all improved over the course of the year, but so have KJ Lewis, Caleb Love, Jaden Bradley, Vasar, Awaka, like the list goes on and on. So I truly feel like we're looking at 2 different teams that are about to square off, and I think Arizona matches up very, very well. There were some certain things and some tendencies that I think that they messed up on. But let's go back to some of the things that Arizona did in the first matchup that immediately you look at and you say, okay, can't happen again or need to be cleaned up. So do you want to go first? Or would you like?
Go ahead. You take it. Okay. I'll follow up.
So I have a long list. Okay. First, it seemed like every single time Duke had possession, any off-ball screen looked like there was just wide open passing lanes for easy buckets for Duke, especially in the first half. Like, that can't happen. And Arizona has cleaned that up themselves over the course of the year. Number 2, if you're not going to play up on defense on their shooters, you will get cooked. And that was relevant then, and it will be relevant now. Guys giving too much room to Kneppel, giving too much room to Proctor, just letting them just square up in their face and shoot it dead in eye. Like, can't happen. I would expect Arizona to force them to drive it more to the basket as opposed to just relying on the 3. And then I have they did not go inside because they didn't go inside enough. Okay, and to give you an example, I tallied it up from the beginning of Big 12 play to right now. Arizona has averaged 38 points in the paint. In that matchup, they only got 26. And the reason why is because Awaka hadn't solidified himself. Vasar was still a little wet behind the ears, trying to figure out what his role was going to be, because you still had Krivas in the lineup. Now that he's been gone for a substantial amount of time, I think that they have adjusted. So real quick, off of those first three items, what do you like? What do you not like?
I think everything you hit was on point. I always take it a step, I wouldn't say further, but I take it a step in the other direction. Why does Duke shoot open threes? They shoot open threes because the ghost of Coach K is still in that program. Duke runs their sets. They run their stuff. They create actions that create wide open shots. So it's a very easy game to play if you're Arizona. There's no one player that's just going to take the team on his back and do all kind of crazy stuff that you need to be on guard for. No, Cooper Flagg's going to do his thing, but it's within the system. Defensively, you can relax because, newsflash, you got to guard everybody. There's no special set of rules. Everyone's a threat on their perimeter. So you play everybody honest, straight up, make them put the ball on the ground, and you try to make them break from their sets. That will alleviate the wide open looks. Defensively, you just got to lock in and guard everybody. The only hiccup I would say is Arizona likes to switch everything on the perimeter. And I don't want to see Cooper Flagg on Jaden Bradley. I don't want to see that. So how do you keep from giving him up to where he's not in a situation where there's a defender he can shoot over? He's very good at that. But I think a lot of the points you hit on were dead on. For me, my major points, this is the game where you've got pressure. It's like a volleyball that they're going to be batting back and forth. Who can make the pressure land on who? We're up 8 with 4 minutes to go in the first half. Pressure's on Duke. We get up 15 or 16. Pressure's on Duke. We go on a 7 or 8-0 run. Pressure's on Duke. Or if the reverse happens, the pressure's on us. I don't think either team wants to get caught behind more than 8 points because the team that's ahead doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes. If you dig your own grave, you're probably going to die and be buried in it. End of discussion. So for a mental standpoint, this is just a game where you go out and you know I have to play high-level basketball at every area. Now, to me, where Duke is vulnerable is a couple of areas. One, they got 3 30-minute guys. So when you're a 30-minute guy, everybody knows, we've said this before, you cannot foul. So what does that mean? It means I'm taking you to the rack the opening 10 minutes of the game. You're not going to touch me. You can't touch me. You're under explicit orders not to touch me. You can't. If you touch me, the game is over. If I had 3 30-minute guys like Cooper Flagg, Proctor, and Knuppel, you guys can't challenge anybody defensively. So if I'm Arizona, I'm attacking them. Now, they've got the shot blocker in there, Malwatch. He's a 7-foot freshman. Prove it, bro. Prove to me that you can block a KJ Lewis, Caleb Love layup without committing a foul. Because I got news for you. If you get in foul trouble, the tempo of the game changes. Same attitude we saw against Kansas. Same attitude the way they attacked Biddle. They have to do the same thing. Soften Duke up from the inside out. And lastly, I don't know, and I don't know if this is the Wildcat in me or the analyst in me. I don't know that Duke's been tested. They played in the ACC. Now, they did play Auburn. They did play Louisville. They did play Clemson. They played a few tournament teams, but my God, the ACC was weak this year. Yeah, Arizona played Houston 3 times. Arizona's played Texas Tech. Arizona played Iowa State twice. Arizona's played at Kansas. Arizona's played at Baylor. Like, Arizona has played tougher teams than Duke. And I have no problem saying that out loud. Duke is not tough. They're not gangster. They're not trap the hell out of you, deflections. They're not even 60% of Houston defensively. So this will not be a physically tough game like Arizona's used to. This is a chance for Arizona to bring the toughness to their front door. This is where we come from. We come from the Big 12. We got our bruises and scratches, and our record proves it. I think Arizona has to be the aggressor and see if Duke is as tough as the hype says they are. I don't believe they are.
Yeah. So a couple things about what you just said. First, you talk about switches, and you said, I don't want to see Jaden Bradley switch up onto Cooper Flagg. I'm kind of the opposite. I don't want to see Henry Vasar switch on to Cooper Flagg. Now, he has improved defensively from the perimeter and everywhere else. But if you go back to that matchup, every single time Vasar was switched up onto Cooper Flagg, cooked immediately. Not even like instant rice cooked. Like there was no hesitation by Cooper Flagg. It's like they said, hey, you see the big guy come out, go. Don't even hesitate, just go. And he had his way. Now, again, they've improved overall. So, maybe it won't be as egregious as it was that first time. The other thing, going inside, 1,000,000%, I agree. Like, they got to go inside. They got beat 43-30 on the glass, which is very un-Arizona-like, especially this year. That tells you that the physicality wasn't there. The attention to detail wasn't there. Like, all these small little things that have got to improve. And then the other thing, we saw it a little bit the other night, that kind of fumbled 3-on-1 fast break. That was kind of a double alley-oop, and now the guy came down with it. Duke and Arizona basically had the same amount of turnovers. Duke had 14, Arizona had 15. But Duke was able to capitalize with 19 points off of turnovers, where Arizona was only able to capitalize off of 10. Like, these are massive swings in the rebounding, fast break, and points in the paint department that are vital for Arizona to have to try to figure out to win this game. And I think that they have figured it out over the course of the year. Some other key points. Baysar and Waka only played a combined 25 minutes in that first matchup. We know that's not going to be the case this time around. We know that. Like, they're going to, at a minimum, they're going to combine for 40. All right. Lewis, Love, and Bradley, 15 for 39, 4 for 17 from 3. They're going to have to shoot better than that from 3 in this game. I do believe that because Duke is going to shoot. And they're going to make them. And you've got to make sure that you don't fall far off of pace in terms of that. And then Knipple, everybody likes to talk about Cooper Flagg, and I get it. He's the superstar. He's the number one pick, probable number one pick. But if you watch down in that game towards the last 5 minutes, the actions that they ran were for Knipple. And then based off of that, if that wasn't there, then that's when they went to Cooper Flagg. They didn't ISO Cooper Flagg at the top and just let him cook. They ran actions, double screens, offset screens to try and get Knipple open, and he cooked them. He cooked them. And sometimes it wasn't even off the action. There was one simple play where he came off a double screen, wasn't there. The big flash to the middle, got the ball, and then another screen came over, and instead of Knipple just going backdoor, he just kind of faded away and caught the ball. And still, with that being said, Carter Bryant's right there, but he doesn't get into his pocket and splash. That was it. And so you can't let Duke get comfortable. And this is where, to your point, Corey, I think this is the massive difference between Arizona now and Arizona back then. Arizona back then was playing defense to play defense from just kind of an optic standpoint. We're out here, we're playing defense, we have energy, cool. The difference between what Houston does and what I think Arizona has learned through the Big 12 is that they don't play defense just to play defense. No, they play defense to make you feel them. They play defense to wear you out. They have a purpose with their defense. And I think Arizona has started to do that over the course of this year, and they're going to inflict their will as much as possible, physicality style, against Duke.
No, I think you make a great point. Houston, and the way that Houston plays defense is to heat you up. They play defense to get you going faster than you normally want to go. We're going to double team you. We're going to make you become athletic. And I think that's the key against Duke. Put the defensive pressure out there to turn them into athletes. Duke doesn't have great on-ball defenders. They get blown by all the time. But the team concept, the way they help out and slide over and rotate and get deflections off that initial drive, that's what makes them good. They're very sound defensively as a unit, but there is no jump off the page athletes sitting down, locking in on D at Duke University. There just isn't. We can pretend and lie and say, oh, they're good defense. No, Duke has people you can take one-on-one. They do not have dogs that are with you for 1, 2, 3 moves, and then ultimately you got to give up the ball because you can't get nothing cooking. Those are the kind of defenders Arizona has, and they're going to have to make that known. Like I said, apply that pressure, see if Duke can guard in the one-on-one. We don't have to worry about spinning the ball in early, but if you can beat your man and drop it off for dunks, or they get missed layups for offensive putbacks, applying that pressure, getting downhill against Duke, forcing them to become athletic, Arizona, I think that's their goal. And then, like you said, defensively, turn it up a notch, because you're right. If you let Duke run their stuff, they do a great job of scheming everybody open. We scheme open the lob, we scheme open the penetration three, we scheme open the back door. But if the shot clock's winding down and they're going to get the ball to Cooper Flagg, how we defend that, and do we get the rebound? That's really what this game boils down to. You put together 4, 5, 6 defensive stops in a row, Duke, I don't believe is built to play from behind. They haven't had to do that much. I mean, their average margin of victory is 21 points. But this is a game where Arizona can come out and establish the attitude of the game, because I think there's super talented players on both teams, but whichever team asserts psychological dominance early on, they'll have a real big advantage.
Going back to the switching point, I will say too, you talked about the 3 guys that play, 30 minutes. I do believe that Con Knipple can be had, especially on the defensive end.
Oh, KJ Lewis, it's free lunch. It's free lunch.
That's what I'm saying. KJ Lewis, anytime he sees him, should be licking his fingers like he just ate a great rib. Like that's barbecue right there. It's barbecue chicken. Like cook him every single time. Don't even hesitate, because his speed, Con Knipple cannot stay with KJ's speed at all. And I would like to see that particular matchup happen more than just once, because I do think KJ could take advantage of him and get to the rack. And then by doing so, they're going to have to help. And hopefully that'll free up other guys as well. So to your point, I just don't think Duke is a phenomenal defensive team at all. I think they play good team defense, but I would say they play good team defense. Not great, not elite, not top tier. I don't care what the numbers say. They're good on defense. That's about it. But they can be had, and they've proven that.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, it's going to be a matchup of 2 well-coached teams. So, I mean, it sounds so cliche and so Captain Obvious, but mistakes. The team with the fewest mistakes. Arizona, you make a bad pass and Jaden Bradley picks it off, that's a 2-on-1. That's guaranteed. You get Deli in the corner on a transition, that's guaranteed. And the same thing applies for Duke. When I watched them in the ACC tournament, when I watched them in the NCAA tournament, when Baylor got outside itself and forced up bad shots, Duke just buried them. They're like, oh, thank you for that trash shot, outlet pass, layup. So you have to play disciplined, intelligent basketball. But at the same time, and the challenge is play that brand of basketball, but in certain areas, insert that athleticism and those things that just can't be drawn up from a coaching standpoint. Can you do the extra things, but still play calm and collected?
How are we defending Cooper Flagg? Like what is the mindset? What would you like to see, Corey?
Here's the deal. Cooper Flagg will have 20 points. Book it, write it down on Tuesday night. He'll have 20 points. He's going to be out there. He has the light to shoot enough to get 20 points. So you can't come at it from a numerical standpoint. We got to hold Cooper point to 12. You're not. Just abandon that. But if Cooper Flagg has 20 points and 8 of them are at the free throw line, he's made 1 3 and got a couple of layups, we'll take that all day, because he hasn't dominated. It's the Cooper Flagg buckets that are the tomahawk dunks, the transition threes, the and ones, the putbacks for and one. That's the type of shit that can't happen. We can't let him get loose, because that's when 20 turns into 35. So trying to focus Cooper Flagg. And then here's the other thing. In a game like this, you got to play the numbers. Coach O, he loved the numbers. Tommy's a numbers guy. There's a ton of coaches across the country that are numbers guys. Every coach will tell you when you get a hand up, the percentages go down. Be there when they shoot. You and I, we like to text back and forth during the game, and one of the things I chart are wide open looks. Oh, they're having a great first half. They're shooting 65% from the floor. Yeah, 9 wide open shots. See, wide open shots, guys can hit those at 50, 60%. Hand in the face, 15, 20. And it's such a small detail. And even the greatest shooter will tell you, I don't like a hand in my face. I don't like a guy flying out at me while I'm shooting. So Arizona's real task is to be there when Cooper Flagg shoots. He's the one guy that you really can't leave. They don't run any action away from him that's so important that you have to leave him. If you stay in his jersey and somebody else scores, I'm cool with that. But I can't see you leaving him and giving him wide open looks. Now, he can go past Vasar. He can shoot over Trey Townsend. He can't post up or really shoot over Toby, but Toby's not as fast as he is. So the question is, can Carter Bryant have the wingspan and the discipline as a freshman to guard another sensational freshman and stay out of foul trouble? Carter Bryant's the one person whose footwork and arm span are good enough to stay with Cooper Flagg. I would say KJ is strong enough physically to guard him. If he puts the ball on the deck against KJ or JB, he's in trouble because he may lose it, because Cooper Flagg is suspect to turning that joint over. We've seen that too. I don't know the ideal defensive lineup. I'd love to see Carter on him as long as he can, just being there when he shoots, making life miserable. That's what I'd like to see.
I think if you're Tommy Lloyd, this is the message to Carter Bryant. Listen, Carter, I'm not going to say anybody else can't guard Cooper Flagg because I know they can. But I don't think anybody else can guard him as effectively as you could if you play at a high level. I'm telling you right now, you and I have talked about your future here at Arizona. And, we've kind of talked about whether you're going to go pro. You want to go pro? You want to be a lottery pick? Put it on that dude. Put it on that dude. Seriously. You show out against Cooper Flagg and show that you are a tough, hard-nosed defender and you're able to cause discomfort for him. And then on top of that, show off your athleticism on the defensive and offensive end, hit the three, get a couple dunks, whatever. You write your own check right now. That's just what it is. So here's your opportunity, Carter. This is your opportunity to be able to show everybody on the national stage against the player in this year's college basketball class. So what are you going to do with it? That's what I would say to Carter Bryant.
I probably wouldn't say that to Carter Bryant because the battle that Tommy's been fighting all year with this tremendously talented player is, how much can I play him despite the defensive errors? He's a freshman. He's got very aggressive instincts. How many times this year did we see Carter Bryant commit a foul and then go, oh, to the refs? I didn't do that. Oh, that's because he getting what I call hand in the cookie jar fouls. That instinct from high school to reach in and grab. Mm-hmm. And he picks up those fouls. And now we're going to put him on the most prolific offensive player in the country. I would tell Carter, give me everything you've been giving me. The blocks, the dunks, the three-pointers. Give me it all. Now's the time. I'm not even mentioning Cooper Flagg. I'm just like, yo, youngin', give me everything you've been giving me and crank it up 50% for Duke. I need you locked in. I need you aggressive, because when the freshman comes flying out of nowhere and makes a block, when the freshman gets the tip dunk or the alley-oop, man, the other dudes on the team are like, yeah, let's go, because he can bring that high energy play. I'm definitely putting a battery in his back and I'm winding him up. I agree with you there, but I'm not mentioning Cooper Flagg because Cooper's irrelevant. We want to get the dub. And if Carter Bryant has 14 and 8, Arizona wins. They win. You know it, and I know it. If we can get 14 and 8 out of him, we know what Caleb, we know JB, we know everything else. Carter Bryant, 14 and 8, 3 steals, 2 blocks. Come on, bro. I'll take that all day from the freshman. Yeah, I would definitely try to hype him up. I wouldn't put too much in his head, because you could talk to a senior like that and say, yo, this is your time, bro. This cat's trying to take money up. Now's the time for you to prove who you are. You can put that chip on the shoulder of an upperclassman, in my opinion. Carter, he's got a lot of development to do, and unfortunately, it looks like he's going to do that development in the NBA next year because he's looking really good in the tournament. So I think you're on the right path. I definitely would have a special messaging from him because he's an X factor type of guy.
I want to agree with you. I really do. But again, it is Cooper Flagg. Everybody's been talking about that dude. He knows who he is. You might not have to say it out loud, but true. There's a big ass elephant in the room. Right. And we know that he's the key to their success. You know what I'm saying? So I get what you're saying in that regard, in terms of not putting too much pressure on guarding one individual and making it like making a mountain out of a molehill kind of situation. But it is such a vital part of this game
Right.
that you got to tread carefully, I guess, is the way I say. Listen, if keying in on scouting reports is an important thing, maybe if we keyed in on Steve Nash, I don't know, maybe.
You see what I'm saying? But no, that was don't be traumatizing me, bringing back old memories. Here's my thing. I don't want 5 guys from Arizona walking out to the tip-off thinking this is my time to shine and make my NBA money. I don't want that. I want 5 guys walking out there like, I don't care if they have to drag me out of here. We are going to beat Duke somehow. That's what I want those 5 guys thinking about. If I got to take charges and rebound, then damn it, that's what I got to do. If I got to shoot till my arm falls off, then that's what I don't care what. They're going to have to kill me to get me off this court without beating Duke. That's the mentality. When the final seconds tick off the clock, we need to be in a position where we won. Now, what narratives Saul, you played, guys have internal narratives that they use to drive themselves and what this game means to me. And, I can say this in all honesty. I never walked out to a jump ball in all my times as a college athlete thinking I was going to lose or expecting to lose. I was always disappointed when it happened, but at no point did I ever feel like that was going to be the outcome walking out there. I always felt like we were out there to win. Even when it was my last game against Kansas, I didn't know it was my last game until like 8 or 9 seconds left. That's when it hit me, because up until then, we're moving on. We're going to knock these guys out. What do they say? Survive and advance. And I think that's got to be the overall mentality. You can't put too much stuff in a guy's head. And, I think Tommy knows how to message each individual guy. And, for the players that think the NCAA tournament is their NBA scouting debut and all that kind of stuff, yeah, they're putting a lot of pressure on themselves. And unfortunately, I don't think the draft really pays much attention to the NCAA tournament. There are some guys who become household names because of it, and maybe they do move further down in the draft. But for the most part, people's minds are already made up on who they like as far as next level guys.
Yeah, I mean, one of those guys is Caleb Love. And Caleb Love, his kind of maturity and his progression throughout this season, though he started off slow, especially on the scoring side, I think has made some headway with scouts of late, because I've spoken to a couple, and they have been very impressed with how Caleb has kind of transformed his game to be more team oriented and making smart, better decisions with the ball. Defensively is absolutely taking a step in the right direction. And then now you're starting to see the scoring come back along, and he's been with it for the last couple weeks. And when you see a game like against Oregon the other night, that's the Caleb Love that we all want to. That's the Caleb Love we all know and love. And now everybody's getting to kind of see that a little bit more. And I think, again, I think Caleb Love is definitely in that column of not putting too much pressure on myself. Listen, I've already been there, done that. The only thing I haven't done is win a national championship. But I have beat Duke in the Final Four. I have been a player of the year. I've done everything you need to do in college basketball outside of a ship. So I don't have anything to prove right now. It's just about playing my very best game and helping my team win. And I think that's the Caleb Love we've all hoped to see. And I'm happy for him. And I think that this is another opportunity for him to showcase that against top level competition, and really competition that, I think 50% think are going to win the national championship in Duke.
Right. When Caleb Love was slumping, you and I talked about it, and I believe we even talked about it on this pod. I felt like Caleb Love was slumping because he wasn't adjusting to being guarded. Well, he's got 30 regular season games under his belt. He is completely adjusted and figured out and comfortable with being guarded. He knows what a double team off a ball screen feels like. He knows what a switch on a stagger feels like. He knows who's open when 2 guys are on him. These are things he was not picking up in November. These are things that he struggled with in December. But now he's comfortable with the attention that he gets defensively, and he's elevated his thinking to making the high IQ play. Caleb Love is responsible for probably 50 to 60% of Arizona's offense. Either he does it himself or his action and the way he's being guarded creates it for someone else. And he's okay with that now. And I think you're seeing a calm where, look, I don't have to give you nothing in the first half, but I'll give you 15 in the second if you let me. I don't have to make back-to-back threes, but I'll take this pick and roll down the lane for a dunk. I'll kick it to Deli. I'll get to the free throw line. Like, I'm going to work on you in any way possible. And that makes him a lot more settled. Now, he had a couple of times against Oregon where he was trying to do too much and dribble the ball out of bounds and things like that. But for the most part, I think Caleb's gotten used to seeing every junk defense known to man, and he's taken his time. And you and I talked about it during the game. What's mind-numbing to me, and I had to just laugh, he goes on that run that essentially puts Arizona in a good position to win, where he scores 10 consecutive points on, I think it was 2 threes and 2 shots. 3 of those shots were horrible shots. Defender hanging all on him, but he shot it anyway, and it went in. A couple of those threes, the defender was right there with him, and you have to live with that. No coach would tell you that's a good look, but when duty called and it was his time to take his responsibility and be a leader, he made the shots that only Caleb Love can make. Dribble, step back 3. Arizona don't have nobody else on the team that can do that. That is such a luxury when you have a 3-point possession because this guy's better than that guy. And that's all it boils down to. But
there's other things that kind of led into that, right? It's the pick and roll drop off to Vassar for the dunk, the floater in the middle of the lane, and then he takes it one step further and he hits that 3, and then the next time he comes down, hits that hesitation, blows right by the defender, gets the dunk, and then he hits another 3. Right, like these things all build on top of each other. So when I see Caleb Love make 2-3 plays that are solid in a row, jack it up from 3/4 court. I don't care if that's what you want to do and you feel comfortable, then do it, because you're right. Caleb Love is the only type of player that can do that on this team. He puts himself into heat check mode multiple times throughout a game because of the play that he's exuding out there on the court in different ways. And that's what I love about his development this year. So go ahead.
The further you get into the tournament, the better defensively teams you're going to face. Things that you were able to get against Oregon, they may not be there against Duke. So searching for your shot and being effective, it gets more and more difficult as the tournament progresses. And I think you're right. Caleb Love has settled into the area of, I'm going to score however you let me. If I can get downhill, great. If you're going to give me the floater. And, if you're Dana Altman of Oregon, you're sitting over there scratching your head like, damn, if we trap them, they got 3-point shooters out there. If we let him turn the corner, he can hit the floater. What do I do? Well, that's when you get to the point where there's nothing you can do. And that's exactly where we can't let Cooper Flagg get to Thursday night. We can't let it be dealer's choice. I can shoot over the defender. I can pass. I can go to the hole. And I'll just bring this point up as well. Cooper Flagg gets a celebrity whistle. He does. He's the most notable player in college basketball. He's earned it. He attacks the rim. He dunks on people. But when he goes to the rim, all contact is whistled. I don't think the crew Thursday night is going to be any different. How Arizona reacts to fouls that aren't really fouls, don't get out of their mental focus. Just, it's going to happen. They may even call a few ghost fouls where you really didn't touch him, but he gets a free throw. Dismiss it. Stay focused, because it's going to happen.
I'm going to talk about one surprising factor that I didn't really calculate until today that should help Arizona. But first, let's get to this. Folks, if you love golf and you want to win prizes, then you should come out to the Green Jacket Open. That is April 12th. It's Masters Saturday. We're going to be out at Dobson Ranch Golf Course watching Saturday of the Masters, moving day of the Masters, and then we're going to hit the links 2:00 in the afternoon, shotgun start. It's going to be a fantastic time. You could join myself and all the other PHNX peeps out there as well. Damon, Dog, Kevin. It's going to be a great time. So come on out, have fun. If you're not a diehard, you should become a diehard. So that way you can save some money on your foursome. And also you can buy some cool merch. Plus we have a very special PHNX gift pack for everybody that signs up to play. So it is fantastic. It's fun time. Our events, or the PHNX events for golf, are second to none. They're fantastic. And Dobson Ranch is a great time. So if you're down in Tucson, you should come on up. We are going to be trying to do some stuff down in Tucson as well. So hopefully we can get that done soon. But it's going to be a good time. It's always a good time out there at Dobson Ranch. Matt Stark and company out there do an elite job. There will be some other notables as well. I think Reggie Geary might come out and play, trying to get a couple other U of A alums to come out and play. So stay tuned, but you want to sign up now because it's only in like a couple weeks. So again, the Green Jacket Open, go to gophnx.com/events and get your foursome signed up today. All right. So Corey, I was thinking about this, going all the way out to Jersey. And if you know Duke and their relationship with the East Coast and Jersey specifically, you know Duke typically travels well to Jersey. However, there's not just one Big 12 team going to Jersey. There are two, and BYU and us. And I didn't think about it until today, but I'm about 95% sure, and I hope I'm not wrong, that BYU and U of A fans will cheer for each other. At least I hope that's the case. And I think that by that, hopefully it becomes less of a home crowd for Duke. I don't know how Bama really travels. They do travel kind of well, I think. They did travel out here to Arizona last year to play Arizona pretty well. I mean, that crowd was pretty sizable. So, I don't know. What do you think, Corey? You think there's any merit to that?
The only people cheering for Duke will be Duke fans. Everybody else hates Duke. So it don't matter if their team got bounced in the first round. If they live in Jersey and found a ticket on the ground, they're going to come in there and cheer against Duke. Nobody's cheering for Duke except Duke fans. So the custodians, the janitors, the people selling popcorn, they all gonna be cheering against Duke. Duke is hated and loved all in the same breath. So yeah, anybody casually watching the game, I'd be very surprised if they was cheering for the Duke Blue Devils.
Okay, well then let's put the shoe on the other foot. Are you going to cheer for BYU over Alabama?
I want the conference to show strong. I definitely do. I was upset that Iowa State kind of sputtered out because I had an all Big 12 Final Four. I'm rooting for Houston. I'm rooting for BYU. I'm rooting for Texas Tech, and I'm rooting for Arizona. And that's about as good as I can, about as well as I can put it. I think the SEC is holding court and showing why they got as many teams in the tournament as they did. But I definitely want to see Big 12 get the respect. I had a great time covering a lot of Big 12 teams for the first time this year. I think that'll probably be my lane again next year. So the better the Big 12 does, the more we can twist America's head away from the East Coast and get America to see the whole country in terms of college basketball. I think that's great. I don't want the tournament to be the only time people see Big 12 schools. You know, I know the SEC and Duke are East Coast, Cinderella darlings and sweethearts and get a lot of media coverage, but they played some good ball in the Big 12. So I'm glad to see these teams in the Sweet 16.
You know, I'm going to push back on this whole SEC thing. You know, they're hyping themselves up. They're patting each other on the back. Oh, we got the most teams into the Sweet 16 ever, 7. You got 14 bids, dog. 50% of your teams.
Right.
Like, what are we doing here? Like, but percentage-wise, the Big 12 did better than the SEC by getting 4 out of their 7. But I just this SEC bias was wildly crazy, and I think it hurt some teams that I thought were deserving of getting into the tournament, like West Virginia. Thought definitely they deserved to be in the tournament. I thought their strength of schedule was adequate. I thought they were a better selection than North Carolina, but here we are. And you got some really, really average teams getting into the tournament, like Texas should have never been in the tournament. So the SEC just self-inflation is just wild to me. Sure, you could have a bunch of teams in the top 25 preseason just so that way you can get them all into the postseason. But that doesn't mean that any of them are good. We saw Kansas start off as the number one team in the country, and they got mollywopped in the first game. Like, it's just, you don't know until you play the games, and you can't make assumptions based off of oh, well, this team was projected to be a top 5. Yeah, Arizona was supposed to be a top 10 team as well. Got bounced all the way out of the top 25 and battled all the way back. But they earned their keep because they battled back. Some of these SEC teams are just riding on the coattails of the name SEC, which I think is a bleed over from football. I don't believe the SEC is the best conference in America. I don't. I think it's the Big 12. And I hope that we're about to see that. I hope BYU absolutely beats the brakes off of Alabama, because Alabama is a high-scoring team. BYU can be a high-scoring team as well. I think that's going to be a shootout. I think that game's going to be in the high 90s. I'm excited to see that game. Are there any other matchups this weekend that you are looking forward to outside of the ones that involve SEC teams that we all hope lose?
No, I mean, that's a good one. Definitely going to be keeping an eye on the Michigan game. I think Michigan has surprised a lot of people. And don't forget, everybody's had 4 days at home to prep and watch film and sleep in their own bed and recalibrate. And
not Arizona. Not Arizona.
Not Arizona.
They flew straight to Jersey the next morning.
So you've got a situation where teams have been able to focus on one team for 3 straight days. So who knows what the first halves of these games are going to look like with focused defensive schemes. And you can't be a slouch of a coach and make it to the Sweet 16. So all capable coaches, all coaches able to make a great game plan so their team can survive the opening minute. So I'm going to be watching all the games. I think Arizona is obviously going to be the game that dictates how my whole weekend is going to be. Am I going to be at home mad, or am I going to be at home chilling? I mean, it's a lot going on, so Thursday, Saturday. Yeah. So, but you know what this is like, and I was thinking about this earlier today. You remember the Rocky series?
Yeah.
Rocky,
is this Rocky 4?
Arizona, it's Rocky. It's Rocky. Here it is. Arizona goes to Duke a year ago, and they win at Duke. And that's Apollo Creed, getting by, whatever. He won the fight, but everybody's like, oh, Rocky's pretty legit. Everybody's like, oh, Duke's legit. Rocky 2, Rocky beats Creed. That's Arizona and Duke, November. Rocky comes back and beats Creed. Now, Rocky 3, Rocky runs into this super tough, from the streets, gritty Clubber Lang, who beats the hell out of him. Mickey told him, we don't want to fight this guy. He's all wrong for us. You don't want no parts of this guy. He's tougher than you. You've been at the top. You've been celebrated. Now it's Clubber Lang. It's a different animal. You think you're ready. This guy is a different type of monster. And Rocky goes in the ring and gets the snot beat out of him. This is Rocky. We're Clubber Lang, Rocky 3. We got to take down the paper champion. Duke is the paper champion. They won a bunch of games in the ACC against subpar talent. Everybody, including the people at my network, got behind them and been stroking them all season. Let's see how tough they are Thursday night.
A couple of comments in the chat. Bobby said, didn't Corey say this game was going to be easier than Oregon? How's that going to work? Well, I think.
Let me clarify. When I say the game is easier, I'm talking about from a player perspective. Everybody's good. So you don't have, you got to pay attention to the game plan and the scheme, but everybody's a threat. Everybody needs to be respected. All you have to do is play great basketball. Against Oregon, it was too much unknown, and it was prep work and how are we going to do this and who's this kid, and we've never played them before. Duke runs sets. Duke is disciplined. Duke can hurt you a lot of different ways. So when I say the game's going to be easier, I'm certainly not talking about easier for us fans to watch. I'm certainly not talking about easier in terms of level of play. I'm talking about from a player perspective. Man, we play Duke. What is there to talk about? There's nothing to talk about. Dog, you watch them all season. You've seen how good they are. Take away this, be tough, box out, don't turn it over. Just go play great basketball, and you're going to have to play great basketball to win. The same is true for Duke. We're playing Arizona. Who are we going to leave open? Who are we going to not guard? Nobody. We just have to go. As a player walking out into these big games, they were fun because you could totally clear your mind and just hoop. You didn't have to really, there wasn't a lot of unknown stuff. And I'll tell you deep down, players enjoy these games more than the other games. You come out against Wofford and somebody got 7 threes at halftime, and you looking at coach like, what the hell is going on? Who scouted this? What? And next thing you know, your season's over, and you can't even go on social media because you got knocked out in the first round by a dude that you didn't take serious, or some bench player came out of nowhere and drilled you. Those are the games that players hate to play in. You want to play in a game where you can clear your mind, and Duke is that type of game. You got to be mindful of Cooper Flagg, but Duke's this is Houston. This is Kansas. This is Texas Tech. This is at Baylor. We've played this game 8 or 9 times already. So when I say this game is easier, it is easier in that regard. Duke is not more talented than most of those teams we played in the Big 12. They just have a bigger name and more media hype around them. But once that ball gets tossed up and you get to bumping and pushing and playing, it's a game. Plus, we played them in November. And if it wasn't for the drought offensively at the end of the game, Arizona had a chance to win that game. So I know they're really kicking themselves, but maybe it's better this way. Maybe the chip on their shoulder from dropping a game at McKale Center. I mean, I got a ticket to that game, but it was iffy for me, an alum, to get to that Duke game back in November. That's how popular that game was among the Arizona fan base. To drop that game at home, hell yeah, that's going to light a fire under you this second time around. Because everybody in Tucson, nobody was disappointed, but it did sting. It stings anytime anybody wins in McKale Center. So when I said the game was going to be easier, it's a game that Arizona is more comfortable playing. That's what I mean. It's definitely a high-level game, definitely a quality opponent, but there's no tricks or no crazy stuff you don't know stepping out on the floor against the Duke Blue Devils.
Last night, Erica Day, shout out to Erica Lee Day, did a Spaces on Twitter, and this topic came up, and it was about matchups. And somebody in the chat, actually Bobby in the chat again, said, will Tommy make changes to the lineup so they can match up, or will he keep ADO in the lineup to start? My argument was, because a lot of people were clamoring for KJ Lewis to start instead of ADO because of the matchups. My thing is, if you do that, then you're immediately telling your team you're panicking. And KJ feels comfortable coming off the bench for 2 reasons. One, gets him into the game, nice flow. He can assess how the game is going, and more importantly, how it's being officiated. And B, it calms him down, because sometimes he has a tendency to come out too hot. And if the game's going, then he could just kind of settle in and then walk up to the scorer's table, check in for ADO, and get into the game and get a nice rhythm. Also, you don't want to change it. When Trey Townsend got a concussion and was out for a couple games, I thought that when they shifted the rotation, I felt like that kind of threw Arizona a little bit off kilter, and their chemistry and their consistency wasn't there. When Trey Townsend came back, took about a game or 2, but then they finally found their groove again and they got back into the flow. And I think this is what you're seeing now. And I even though it's not ideal defensively to see ADO and Townsend out there for long stretches, just go with what's been working for you. And then you shift as the game goes along. Everybody's going to get your key players are going to play 30 minutes. Like, that's just what's going to happen. So I'm not worried about who's starting or anything like that. Just play ball. Like, so that's what I would do. I wouldn't switch it up. But Corey, you tell me if I'm wrong.
No, you see, and this is why, you're starting to learn from me. I appreciate that. I'm bringing you along. You're 1,000% correct. There is no reason to signal to your team that we have to change up for Duke. We are who we are. We're going to walk through the door playing the way we've always played. Psychologically, now more than ever, coaches need their guys to be locked in and confident. Nothing signals a lack of confidence than all of a sudden changing for Duke. We've already got our strategy. We know how we're going to guard them. And here's the second thing. The game's not going to be decided in the first 7 or 8 minutes. No matter what happens. Hell, we just proved that against.
They were down 15 against Oregon.
What better time to get Delly some minutes where there's no pressure? Or you gonna try to find pressure minutes for him in a tie game with 4 minutes to go? He's not seeing the court then. But here's the upside. Even if it's even at the 14-minute mark, if Delly can give you 5 or 6 minutes, you've shortened KJ's exposure. You've shortened the fouls that he can pick up. You've taken that out of the equation. Now, don't get me wrong, KJ could come out and get 2 quick ones. But my point is, playing Delly only has an upside. Yes, they're going to hunt him a little bit on defense, but this is Duke. Duke doesn't break their sets to ISO on guys like Houston does and Iowa State does and Texas Tech does. So they may not pick on Delly because maybe the play, if Delly's on Knuppel and the play isn't for him, Knuppel's standing in the corner next to Delly. Hello, we'll take that all day long. So the minutes that he's going to get early aren't going to kill you. What if at 14 minutes to go, it's 20-6 Arizona and Delly's had a couple of threes? And now you're hitting him over the head with KJ as the backup or coming off the bench. You're in a better position. So I think there's no risk in letting Delly start the game. I don't think Duke is going to ISO and pick on him defensively. But I do think Delly buys you some time because you really have a 3-guard rotation, Caleb, KJ, and Jaden Bradley out front. And Delly, whatever minutes he gives you is rest for those 3 guys. And God forbid the boy make 3 or 4 threes. Now we're really rolling. So I say same soup, just reheated. Bring it back out the same way you do. The game's not going to be decided in the opening 5 minutes. And a lot of coaches know that. That's why you see them going to their bench at the 14, 15-minute mark, because what better time to see what a guy's going to give you than early in the game when nothing's been decided.
True. King Nacho says, let's go repeat 1997 and just beat 3 number 1 seeds to the ship. I mean, right now, you could be set up for that if you beat Duke, and then you would have to face Houston possibly in the Final Four, and then you would have to face either Florida or Auburn in the national championship. Once again, trying to seal this thing off with an SEC team for a title. I mean, I could live with that. But we got a long way to go, and there's a lot still to be determined. Corey, give me one player that you're really looking forward to watching and seeing how much of an impact they can make this weekend.
Jaden Bradley. Caleb is that right hook. He's that killer uppercut, but Jaden Bradley is the jab that softens you up. That floater, those layups, getting to the free throw line, getting steals, like his play, keeps us from having droughts. So I'm watching JB and I'm like, okay, you got to guard Proctor. You got to get switched on to Knuppel. You got to show up defensively. But man, no one, and I mean no one, has been able to stay in front of that kid all season. He's always in the lane, always coming downhill. If he can force that, and yeah, Mal Walker's going to come over and try to make blocks, but man, when Jaden Bradley gives us those little in and outs, them little hitters here and there, it keeps the oil in the machine and we keep running. Whenever he's disappeared for long stretches of time, now we're a one-trick pony, and it's like, okay, Caleb, save us offensively. We need your 3-pointers, and then things don't usually go too well from Arizona. But if Jaden can apply pressure and live in the lane, he doesn't have to make the floaters and the pull-ups. A lot of times he can drop it off. Even when he misses, because they rotate to him, Owaka's got a free putback. So I really want to see JB be active again, because he's the one thing that Duke just can't stop, even if they wanted to. Now I'll just leave it there.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. That's a good one. For me, I don't think this is the greatest matchup for Trey Townsend. So I'm going to opt to go for Henry Vasar. And the reason why is because I think Henry Vasar is the one unknown element of the core. And when I say core, I mean the 3 guards, KJ Lewis, Caleb Love, Jaden Bradley, and then I consider Owaka part of the core, and then Carter Bryant. Vasar, to me, he's been a little bit of everything in the last month. He's had some highs, he's had some lows. So there's been times where you've barely even noticed he's out there. There's been some times where he's just flat out dominated. And I want to see Henry Vasar's jump from game one against Duke, where he's basically a non-factor, to this game and what he could possibly do, especially against Malawach. I think you need to force Malawach to be more active than he was against you the first time around.
For sure.
I think we let him camp out in the paint way too much. I thought he was dictating exactly how Arizona was going to run its offense at the basket. Points in the paint, like I said earlier, 26. That's not good enough for Arizona basketball. If Arizona wants to win this game, 35 plus points in the paint at a minimum, they have to have. They have to show that aggressiveness, and they have to at least get paint touches. But you can't have paint touches knowing that you're not going to try and shoot it in the lane because Malawach is there. You have to have paint touches and pull up for that mid-range if you're Jaden Bradley, or pump fake the mid-range and drop it off to Vasar for the dunk or whatever. But you got to force Malawach to be more active than he was. And I think Vasar, because of his skill sets and what he can provide, could have that opportunity to do so because he is sneaky athletic and he can hit that perimeter three on occasion. So if he gets just one or two of them to go down, and he's done that before this season, I think that completely changes exactly how Malawach and Duke are going to attack and defend him, and then opens things up a little bit more. I don't expect that to happen in the first 20 minutes. I think at a key point in the game, that's where I feel like you're going to see that, maybe that middle 20, the last 10 of the first half, the first 10 of the second half. I could see something like that just to kind of sway how Duke is thinking defensively and keep them on their toes. And that's the thing you got to do with Duke. You have to keep them on their toes. They have freshmen. I know they're superstar freshmen. I know they're lottery pick freshmen. I get that. But they're still freshmen. And we saw the Fab Five, for crying out loud. The 5 best freshmen to ever feel or to ever get onto a basketball court at the same time. We even saw those freshmen make mistakes. Hell, we saw those sophomores make mistakes and calling timeouts that didn't exist. So the pressure of the moment can get to them. And if you haven't been in it, you don't understand it. And the Sweet 16 is not like the first and second round. It's completely different because you know what is just around the corner. And that is the goal that everybody has at the beginning of the season. So Henry Vasar can have a big impact on this game to get Arizona to where it needs to be. And so that's the guy that I'm looking forward to. And I mean, needless to say, Corey, I'm hyped up. I'm excited for this game. Yeah. It's been a long time since I've been like truly, truly excited for a game. Let's go.
Well,
I'm ready.
That brings me 2 points. One, Vasar, Knuppel, and Delly are all similar in the fact that they're players that hurt you when you have to leave them. When something happens and you have to leave them defensively, Vasar can fly to the rim and catch a lob. He can step back and knock down a three. He can hit the jump hook in the lane. I mean, he's a guy that as soon as you break contact with him, he's dangerous because he's 7 feet and he's agile. Delly, you lose track of him, he'll put your lights out. Knuppel, you lose track of him, he'll put your lights out. So these are guys you got to stay connected to. Can either team scheme them open is one thing. And then looking at the tournament, there's a couple of games that I'm kind of upset because I feel like they're happening too soon. Arizona Duke feels like a Final Four game, yet it's a Sweet 16 game. It feels to me like a Final Four game. Kentucky Tennessee feels like a Final Four game, and it's happening, in my opinion, too soon. I wish it was happening later in the brackets. Those are the 2 games that are going to be so great, and they may end up being the best games of the weekend. And who's to say your national champion doesn't come out of either one of those games? I mean, that's just the way I feel.
If those of you who are streaming on our streaming platforms, make sure you jump on over to gophnx.com to catch the rest of this. But no, I agree, Corey. I feel like the whole slate. This is the pros and the cons of NIL. I will say that. You have your Power Four represented and only your Power Four represented. There are no mid-majors in this year's Sweet 16. Those mid-majors have been funneled out, and I think a large degree is because of the money that has been put into some of these programs and the limited resources that some of these mid-majors have. And really, they become kind of a minor league of sorts for the bigger programs because, hell, over 1,000 kids have already hit the transfer portal, Corey, and we're in day 2. Right. I mean, so like that, I feel like this year more than any, you've seen that impact. And hey, listen, it makes for great matchups in the Sweet 16. This is probably the best set of matchups in a Sweet 16 that I could ever recall because we got banger of games back to back to back to back. It's going to be fantastic. We appreciate you all for joining us in the chat. Tyler Warden just showed up. Vegas Allen, King Nacho, 1EV. Appreciate you guys. Javier, Kevo, Russell Smith. And then, as always, Bobby and Matt S. And Electron Vibes is a big Duke fan, apparently, but we'll just ignore that one. Outside of that, folks, have a great time watching these games. And make sure you hit that like button and follow us on your favorite podcast streaming platform, because this show does run all the time on its own independent platform on McKale Madness. So Spotify, Apple, whatever you want, please make sure you leave a 5-star review. For Corey Williams, you can follow him at College Corey. For me, you can follow me at Saul_Bookman. And you can follow the show at PHNX_Wildcats. Corey, any parting thoughts?
Maryland traveled. I don't care how you feel about it. Maryland traveled.
Speaking of which, that Montverde high school team, ridiculous.
Insane.
Ridiculous.
Good team. Good team.
So anyway, bear down as always. We'll see you Thursday. I'll be in Jersey. Kevin, our fantastic producer, will be home along with Damon, and they'll be doing watch along. So if you want to watch the game with other Wildcats, please do. I'll be on boots on ground out there in Jersey, getting all the behind the scenes stuff and hooking you guys up with everything you could possibly want. And hey, listen, hopefully in the best case scenario, Arizona is able to cut down the nets to go to the Final Four for the first time since 2001. And if that does happen, I will be there live as they're cutting the nets down behind me, so you all can see it happen in real time. So until next time, folks, we love you all. Bear down. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.